about the classic cinema.
No.
Because it all happened before he was born.
Yeah, exactly. Before we begin, I need to get a bit personal. Support for Packfiller is brought to you by Manscaped. This is a pre-show read for Manscaped. So this is how serious I am. They're the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. I wish I had the copy that said something about a dong salon, turning your house into its own personal dong salon. That was good. Manscaped's Performance Package is the ultimate hygiene bundle. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code PACKFILLER at manscaped.com. And that's a great deal, you guys. If you use the code PACKFILLER, we only need about 50 people to use the code. And then, they believe us that cyclists are a viable demographic for their product line. And let's be honest, what do cyclists do when they're not riding their bike? They're shaving parts of their body, their arms, their legs. Have you guys ever shaved your arms? No?
No.
No?
But I use that product now because...
Yeah?
Well, one thing I found out, I know I'm prolonging this.
No, this is good. This is good. This is what they want.
It's weird because all my hair on my body is like 3/4 of an inch long. For some reason, when you hit your 50s, it wants to go out to like 1.5 inches.
It just stops.
So, yeah, and when I take a shower, I look like a orangutan with the hair hanging off my arm. So I take it, I'm not going to go to the skin. I just knock off. I take it back to where it should be, 3/4 of an inch.
You manscape.
It's the same with like nipple hair.
Yeah.
I got out of the shower and it looked like, mascara running off of the eyes of my aunt at her husband's, funeral. Yeah. Just like,
you're such a good
what
man.
the hell is this?
Yeah. Man, Edna, you look like you're my nipples.
When the hair, hangs down after the shower.
Man.
I use it quite a bit. And I'm not a hairy guy, but yeah.
I'm liking it. I did find when I first got it, powering it on and off was a little different. It's like you have to press the button a little longer.
The new head?
Yeah. The new machine. Yeah. Jackson, you have any?
I mean, I like it. I now have 2 sitting on my bathroom counter looking all pristine. Does all I need it to do, and I couldn't be happier about it.
Good. You're switching out. You're not using the same one down as the same one up, right?
Well, why wouldn't you?
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code PACKFILLER at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping. Use the code Manscaped. Also, Gooder sunglasses, folks. New styles, new season, all polarized, all non-slip, all under $35. Get to Gooder.com today. The new ones, I'm telling you, the new ones are coming out. They just haven't done the official release yet. And I can't wait to see them. I've seen kind of glimpses of them. And if you go through Ashton Lambie's Instagram, you will probably find a pair, right?
Possibly.
Oh.
They're going to look so cool. They're going to look so cool. Like real, no offense, but like real cycling glasses. Like you look like Mathieu van der Poel.
Yeah.
Or if you're me, you look like you ate Mathieu van der Poel. All right, stage race is upon us. Stage race season is upon us, and GCN isn't letting me rewind or pause live shows. Does anybody run into that?
I just watch it live, so I don't know. Yeah.
It won't let me rewind. And today was the first day I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. That was the dad thing. I'm just disappointed. Hey, welcome to another look into life in 2 wheels. Welcome to the Packfiller Podcast. I'm Pat Bulger. Let's meet tonight's panel. And when we do, let's find out from each of them just what makes them tick. Let's find out, thanks to you, the listener, that if the zombie apocalypse was happening, what 3 professional cyclists, current or past, would you pick to be on your defensive team? To help you in the zombie apocalypse, 3 cyclists. I can go first, unless, Paul, you've got it immediately.
No, I've got it about.
All right.
Yeah.
Number 1, he's the only man on the planet that can turn just about any conversation into an anti-tubeless or disc brake argument. Mr. Paul Main. How are you, man?
All right.
Am I wrong?
No. Yeah. See, I would definitely Tim DeClercq, because that guy.
Oh.
That guy's a workhorse.
You
I mean,
just
he's
go all day.
All day long.
Swinging an axe and killing zombies.
And so once he's got, break through the line, you need a little bit of insanity going from side to side. And I'd put Mark Cavendish in there. It's just like, something you can't.
Yeah.
And then
you
gotta have yourself a leader, a smart one. And I'd probably put, I think he races pretty smart, and that would be Wout van Aert. Yeah, because he's strategic. So that's how I look
You
at
all
it.
went modern. I like that.
Yeah.
I never
Yeah.
would have predicted you would have gone modern.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. His introduction was he's officially responsible for the sign of the apocalypse, Mr. Jack Broadhead, because he put money down on a bike, an Argon 18.
Mm-hmm.
I know nothing about that bike brand.
Nope.
I know a guy that, he used to have one that got stolen.
Oh,
And he's the one that owns South Perry Pizza.
oh,
My friend
okay.
John
Okay.
had one. He liked it a lot.
They liked it?
Mhm.
Well, there we go, everybody.
Mhm.
Jack's going to get a bike. So, yeah, he doesn't get his introduction.
There you go.
He's now be seen by over 5 million people. How does that make you feel, dude? Jackson Bolger.
Fine. Yeah.
Fine?
Feels
5 million
great.
people would wig me out a little bit.
Nah, it doesn't worry me too much.
He wasn't
Yeah.
naked.
No, exactly.
It's very true.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't a 5 million dick
Close.
pic.
You had Lycra on.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they could see your religion. Who are your zombie cyclists defense team?
So I think first I'm gonna pick Matthew Vanderpool. He's a warrior.
okay.
You know,
Yeah.
he'll. I feel like he'll fight till the death.
Yeah, just
fall
like that
over.
Giro sprint,
Yeah.
just like that, and then fall over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Victor Campenarts. He's just crazy enough that he'll probably start eating the zombies.
He'd bite back.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He gives
okay.
me that feel. And
Yeah.
then I'm gonna pick Tommy Vogler because if we need a sacrifice, like if we're running away, if we're all running away, like I feel like he could be a very good
Yeah.
beacon for all of them to go. to.
I'm here for
The
you, my
scapegoat.
friend.
Yeah.
No, I am the one. I will save us all.
Yeah.
Follow me.
He just feels like
Ah,
that.
yeah.
exactly.
Okay, I don't know. That's my.
He's gonna
Tommy
make
Vogler
enough
impression.
noise. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. With his tongue out, stuff like
Mhm.
that. Okay, there you go. I'm going old school. I'm the guy whose motto comes from his wife telling him to shut up. My three are Bernardino because he's savage. Early younger
is.
Bernardino, like 1984 Bernardino. Guido Bontempi. Jackson has no idea who that was, but he was a sprinter for Carrera. Fucking badass. I don't think he 100% played by the rules. He's kind of like if you needed somebody to play the role of a mafiosa thug, Guido Bontempi would have been that guy. And I mean that as a compliment to Mr.
He
Bontempi.
was kind of a stocky guy. Too.
Yeah, big guy. Yeah, he could swing the big axis. And finally, Ned Overend, the mountain bike legend Ned Overend, because he's unstoppable and like a brilliant tactician. I think he'd be the guy who'd help us out. I don't know how much I would contribute to the zombie apocalypse team because those guys would help me out.
There you go.
There we go. Hey, let's get this out of the way. How's training been, guys?
you know, fine enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty quiet.
Go ahead. Were you gonna say something?
No.
Oh. Yeah. Last week, it was a busy one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I raced on Wednesday, and that was really it. It went really well.
Yeah, we
though.
should recap that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it went really well. We raced well against each other, I
Yeah.
thought. And then I might have won. I might have
You beat me.
beat you.
You beat me.
Yeah.
You beat me by just under a minute.
Barely. Yeah.
But it was under
A
a
couple
minute.
seconds. But it was a good race.
Wait, did you just barely to give me shit? Was it like barely, Dad? It was basically
He's
a
a
minute.
realist.
Don't say under a minute because it was closer to a minute than under a
No,
minute.
no,
Is
no.
that what your tone was, you little motherfucker? I'm kidding.
No. Yeah. No, I remember looking.
Disrespectful.
I think it was like maybe 20 seconds. We were not that far apart.
No, I think it was a little longer than that.
Either way.
Anyway,
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun to race again, and
Yeah.
also it was fun to take another change of scenery. You know.
Yeah.
So
I found it interesting because you and I both went into it looking at each other, kind of going, I don't know about my technical skills. Last time I raced my mountain bike was the last race of this series, which was the last Wednesday in June. I hung up my bike, and I hung up your bike too because your bike was here. I took them both down last Monday or Tuesday, and the numbers were still on. So that's how many times we'd ridden our mountain bikes. Yes, we are a cycling podcast, and yes, we love mountain biking, but we just haven't been riding them. We've been gravel or road or stuff like that. And we both went to this race series going, let's just go easy. Let's just see what happens. If we go, I think our technical abilities are going to be rusty, and I don't want to crash 2 weeks before our district championships. And you said it best. The gun went off, and I don't know about you, but my brain just went bike race, and the next thing I knew, I just accelerated off the front. I just went without even thinking.
Yeah,
full race mode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I, like you said, when we went off, it's like I locked in immediately because I was talking to my girlfriend about how like I was going to take it easy and everything.
Yeah.
And then like she goes, "Oh, but like your competitive side kicked in," which is so true. It's like I couldn't help myself.
It was really weird. It was really weird. So that was it. Mm-hmm. I didn't ride. Did I do something on Thursday? Fuck, what did I do on Thursday? I think I rode indoors on Thursday. I did ride indoors on Thursday because it was horrible weather. And we were going to do...
Yeah, it rained all day.
Yeah. So I did do... Monday I did a little weights. Wednesday I did that. And then Thursday I did that. And then there was nothing because I didn't want to... Mother's Day weekend, you do what you're told. Right? I mean, should we recap what the Mother's Day massacre? No, never mind.
Yeah.
How's your training been, man?
Well, last time I rode was with you three, up until today, and that's when you broke a smoke.
Yeah.
You went on, and I was feeling like crap. So I planned on going out Thursday, but it was raining pretty hard, and I just still felt under the weather. So then, the weekend came. Mother's Day, my wife, I went and saw my mom, being 89, you know. So that blew Sunday. And Saturday, the weather was just absolutely crap. So I have today and the next 2 days off. Today I went out and did like 47 miles. And it felt the first time in over a month, that I felt like my lungs were working. I'm coughing a little bit, but, not that bad. So
you know what? I caught myself today when I was writing the show notes using the word training. Is there ever a day when you're not thinking of going out for a ride as training for something? I mean, are you always preparing for an event, a race, beating your friends, whatever it might be? Honey, I'm going for a training ride. It's just become a part of my vernacular. It's something I say. But am I truly training, or am I just going for a bike ride? There is a difference. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Do you ever think about the different the two? And
yeah, I feel like it's funny when the weather turns. That's when I begin to consider it more of a bike ride rather than a training ride.
Okay.
Because I mean, in reality, are any of us like super psyched about getting on the trainer or riding
never.
in really cold weather? No,
Yeah.
And so I think it's when it's more enjoyable weather, then that's when I consider it more of like a ride.
A ride.
Yeah. Because when it's, early March or like really all of March, it's like I love going out with you guys, but also like it's cold.
Yeah.
That kind of sucks.
So if it's bad, it's training rides?
Like if it's, I mean, like if you aren't, if you're doing it in a weather condition where everybody wouldn't go out, then I consider it more of a training ride, because it's like you got to actually like mentally gear up for it rather than just like commit to it,
Do you
training rides is when I have a focus, when I'm legitimately scheduled, like I know what to do. There is a event that I'm aiming for that's a training ride. I think I don't really call what I've done so far, even though we're only a week and a half away from, a week and a half away from the race that we've been talking about. But I've only been riding, not training riding. A training ride where, and that's what I'm going to do this week. But it's like cramming for a test. It is what it is. Yeah. I'm just going to suffer big time. Yeah. But when you have an agenda, or you're doing intervals, or you're doing motor pacing, or you have your schedule where Wednesday you're going to go long, a planned schedule because you have an event. Other than that, everything else, group rides are rides, for me.
Really? So with this in mind, I'm actually switching the order of the show tonight.
Format.
I'm flipping the order. We're going to start with the topic and finish with the news. As you know, people probably who listen to the show also listen to or read formats, and they know what's happening in the news. We are going to talk about the Giro. We're going to get up to speed on it. But I think because for many, if you're competitive, your season is approaching you. And it's something that's happening right now. And Jackson brought this really, this concept up here. So our topic tonight is brought to you by our friends at Wahoo Fitness. The ever-expanding world of Wahoo continues with RGT's virtual cycling, system training, and, of course, the Wahoo line of brilliant computers, trainers, heart raters, monitorers, and even pedalers. Use the link at Packfiller today to get your hands on the Wahoo World of Wonder. I just came up with that right now. Well, I came up with it when I wrote it down. But I want to talk about Race Ready. Jackson, you brought this one up, and I thought it was a really, really cool idea. And what that entails, we're seeing riders in the Giro who started the race in what appeared to be race-ready fitness, right? We have seen after the first major tests, one of them being today's stage, that several are not on the game they perhaps might have thought, or what we might have thought they were on. For example, Tom Dumoulin and Vincenzo Nibali. So let's talk about the steps to prepare properly, the ways you can do it best with what you have, and even some ways to cheat or at least fake, race fitness, both physically and mentally. So let's start with a foundation. In your years of experience, how would you rank your race fitness right now?
On a scale?
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being peak, 1 being I really like chicken. I don't know, just popped in my head.
Chicken.
That was really bad. Sorry. I'd edit that out, but I can't.
I don't know, and the reason why I brought this up is because I think what you would rate yourself physically is way different than may not be realistic, because mentally you might be thinking of yourself lower than you really are, and I find that that's what I do right now. So for instance, right now I'd give myself maybe a 6 or 7.
Okay, but that's not a bad score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, I wouldn't want to be a 10 in May.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, yeah, 7's good. Paul, where do you say?
I'm probably a 3.
A 3.
Yeah. I know, because I missed.
You're so hard on yourself,
well,
because I know you, man.
Well,
yeah.
the thing is that I'm at a weird stage in my life. I don't know, because I know my age is really hampering what I was at one time be able to do.
Okay.
So that's I don't know. I'm in no man's land. I mean, all the way up until I hit 53, I felt pretty much the same. I could tell, but
sure.
After that point, this is terrible. And then, plus, to be honest with you, we really haven't had a really good race in 2 years.
No.
So there's that doubt.
No preseason racing for us.
No.
Some people.
And even had we hit the TNT, a couple of weeks ago, or even last week, if we could have, that would help. And that sets the mental thing.
Sure.
And the thing is when you go into a big event, like we have our Masters District Championship coming.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden you're tasting blood, and it's we're only a quarter of the way through. I mean, but sometimes you have that even when you're fit.
Yeah.
But that mentality, you've been there before. You already know your fitness.
Mm-hmm.
We're going on unknown territory.
Sure.
And I know that
that's
the amount of
part.
writing that I've done and actual training, which I have not done any training, that's why I give myself a 3.
Yeah.
I've been writing, but not training. So.
Okay. I'm going to get, because I have gone through probably about 15 years of just nothing. I've ridden. I've always been a cyclist. I've never not ridden, but I haven't prepared myself for being competitive. I mean, yeah, sure. In 2016, I trained myself for Leadville. I was heavier than I am now when I did Leadville. And so it's been an interesting process. Last year was one of the first years I ever got my, and I probably fat shame myself more than anybody, but last year was one of the first years I ever got that kind of under control for the first time probably in 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm not talking like I was obese, but I got it to a point where my power to weight ratio actually surprised me, and it brought about some numbers and some feelings that I haven't felt in a long time. So last year at this time, I am faster than I was last year at this time, and I'm lighter than I was this year at the last time. But overall, I'm still I would stay, and then Wednesday surprised me, where Jackson, you and I were just like, and my brain just went bike race, and then I took off, and I was waiting to look over my shoulder and have 12 guys on my wheel all waiting for me to quit fucking around so they could pass me. Now I'm not talking about the elite level of the group, because the way the race was staged was different, so I'm not saying I was like the most amazing rider out there, but I felt very competitive. So I would give myself probably right now, in terms of where I would like to be, a 6, but if I was going to compare myself now to myself 5 years ago, I would be a 9, so it's weird how that shifts. So with the district championships in a week, were you thinking that you would be ready? And this is a general question. And to Jackson, they aren't your district championships. It's just a race because you're young, and the young guys get to go someplace cool, probably in a nicer time of the season.
Or the crits in Vancouver.
Was that the one we're going to go do?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the one. Yeah,
There we go.
That's the one we're going to go do. Yay! So, were you thinking that you would be ready? What has or hasn't worked? Paul, you kind of already answered this with just the COVID and no training and stuff like that, and you're saying it hasn't worked.
No, I think too, a lot of it for me is mental. So I have no gauge this year.
Yeah.
Last year we got the tail end of the TNT, which is fun.
Yeah.
And I could see I was starting to improve at that, because there's some high intensity, especially the more it came along, the more rides, the faster and faster and faster it got.
It did.
And that's typical. So I like putting myself in those situations more for the mental. And I'm not a numbers guy, but I was just thinking about that when the topic was mentioned earlier today. Tom Dumoulin mentioned that he doesn't understand. It's like his numbers are just as good as they were back when he won the Giro.
Really?
Yeah. So it's not that. That's where you get older. You're not shooting gaps. You're not making probably risky calls. Sometimes it's just like there's so many things as you get older that's in your mind until you start racing a lot. And he didn't race a lot. I think it's kind of like a battle mentality. The more you see battle, the easier it is, and you just settle down, as opposed to, your first couple of races, you're tense like you guys, you race. Yeah. But where it starts becoming commonplace, where people are crashing, you react to it. You're not, you respond to it, not react like, oh my God. You go around it and you keep pushing. Whoa. And
yeah.
That
or you don't
type
even
of thing.
do anything. Yeah.
And that's probably the scariest part more than anything else, is that mentally I have no gauge this year whatsoever. So I know I'll be, come this, in a week and a half, I'll be in a world of hurt on the mental side.
I have not raced against just my age category in probably, not since I was in my 30s. I haven't. I not until I started getting serious again, and I'm not saying I'm serious. And then when I kind of wanted to start racing again, COVID hit. I have not done a Masters race per se, just with Masters. So I have no clue how it's going to go. Jackson, you are coming off of graduating from college. You were obviously focused on what you fucking needed to do in college, and then last year you had a couple opportunities to do a race, and then you came here and we did these training races. So are you thinking that you're ready and things have worked, or is it just this fear of the unknown?
I mean, it is a fear of the unknown because I haven't really like done many races like this, like of 50 some miles. I haven't had to, make those moves in that long of a race before. But also, I know my capabilities, and I know that I'm confident in what I can do and how I can race against the people that I'm racing against. And it also doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt that the fact that we have ridden against a good portion of the people that I'll be racing against.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And so I know how a lot of these people race. I know how, and I know how I race. So I just have to, as we always talk about, focus on others' weaknesses and focus on my strengths and kind of take it from there. Because right now that's all I can control, and that's what I've been trying to tell myself is that like you can't control how other people's train. You can only or how other people train. You can only kind of control how you train.
Exactly.
So last Wednesday, when I felt like when I told you about the heart rate numbers that I could sustain, I felt really good about that because I hadn't.
Yeah, that's
I
a
didn't.
good sign.
I was doing that in like later summer, but now the fact that I'm doing that in like early May is really like promising.
So I'm trying to take this, and for the person listening to us, and, this isn't just an exercise in vanity. I'm trying to make us, bring to thinking about in terms of preparation, the plan when the plan doesn't work, and and adjustments you make. Has anybody ever had perfect preparation for an event? Like, oh my God, everything went perfect according to clockwork. I'm rocking. Paul, you nodded.
I've
you
had
nodded.
a couple of them like that we had. They weren't big events, but it just happened. I knew I felt like I was peaking, just on group rides and stuff, and I've been racing enough. And it was several years ago, probably about 10 years ago, we had a race my team put on at Green Bluff, which is in Spokane. There's a little hill, and it used to be a training race.
It's our wine country.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. And good hills, good.
Yeah,
hills,
I was riding with CP, and we did like 3 laps up there. We rode out there, and we did 3 laps, and I said, or maybe we did 2 laps, and I just said, I know I'm going to be there. I mean, kind of like that confidence.
Yeah.
And I know exactly where I'm going to attack, and that's everything that I did, and everything came together. I mean, the race unfolded differently, and I had to kind of alter a little bit. I had a teammate. We had the 40s and 50s together at the same. So I was in the 50s, so it must have been 2014 or 13 or something. But anyway, so there's this guy from Walla Walla. He's very strong. His name is Max Coleman, and my teammate was.
Sorry. Hit my
teammate was Travis Coleman, and Max is a breakaway king, and he took off in the hill, and I'm staying on both of their wheels, and we get over the top, and I look, and everybody's chasing, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is because my teammate who's 40s and with this guy, I shut down the gas and fall back, and now half the pack that's 50 is not going to chase.
Okay.
And only the 40s are going up front because they caught me. And then the next lap is when I thought, now it's time to go. And then we got a separation. Then we had a breakaway of 3. And then bang. And then at the end. Yeah. Well, we had another lap, and I went where I went, said I was going to go, and won.
So rolling into that, you knew.
Yeah,
you
I just
ready.
felt. Yeah, I felt.
Was it? And it was a feeling.
It was. I was mentally, like I said, when you know that because I don't do numbers. The way I was going up that hill in a big chain ring, that hill, and I was just flying up, and it didn't
it's
even
like
hurt.
6-7%.
Yeah, it was. I hit a peak, and and mentally I've been racing. I felt battle ready and everything, and it's like. And it's a great feeling when the plan comes together, and you get the fitness, and you're making decisions. Oh, it was awesome. Yeah. So that happens like once in a lifetime.
Jackson, you mentioned heart rate numbers this last weekend, and this last week, being able to hit those heart rate numbers. Are there any what what are those little tests you might put yourself through to understand your preparedness level?
I think putting myself through a race scenario like we had last week was really helpful to me to know. Yeah. It was helpful to me, or for me, to know that like I can, like one thing that you talked about was like we hit the peak of a climb and I kept going.
You got out of the saddle, and accelerated after that. And that broke my heart. But no, I'm joking.
No, definitely, yeah.
It was. I was like, oh fuck, I wish I could do that.
But that's kind of that situation is exactly the type of rider that I want to be. I want to be able to get up and still be able to like explode away. And seeing that I was capable of doing that was really helpful. And also that I can recover quickly from that. Because I remember when we took the 40P test a couple years ago, that like that was the thing that I could do. I could hit it. I could like hit it hard and then recover quickly, and that's what I wanted to do, and that's what I was able to see. So, just having an intense scenario where you are able to mentally take it as an intense scenario, I thought was really helpful. Because when we do our group rides, like it's different. It's not a race necessarily. So
chit chat.
Yeah. I need to work on mental. No, there are a lot of those physical testing moments that I have never been a numbers guy like you have, Paul. I mean, I've a lot of times I would go out. Strava has been a huge thing, and all these advancements in terms of data you can receive, where you can go out now that we spent a fairly, what I consider an affordable amount on those Accio Mia power pedals. To be able to have that information is unbelievable. To be able to start just within the last year that I've had them, to be able to start going, okay, up a specific climb, I've hit these numbers up, in heart and power, to see Strava numbers, to be able to do those types of things, just to be able to measure that data has been unbelievable. That we collectively, as reasonable affordability, have been able to achieve these things, and it blows my mind, because I remember, it always had to be some sort of a race-based confidence that you had to come up with. You had to race in order to know how you were comparing against other people. But now, you kind of don't. You can go out there. You can say I sustain 380 watts for whatever amount of time, and my heart rate was at whatever it was, and my whoop score was, and it's unbelievable what we have access to right now. But talk to me about mental preparation. I am not the same person I was in my 20s. I deal with mental doubt demons on a consistent basis. So at some point in time, throughout my youth, I was confident, cocky, on the bike asshole. But then I got my ass handed to me several times, and I have become the most insecure person ever to straddle the top tube, probably. And I make up for that in joking and volume and stuff like that. So I'm exposing my soul to you.
You started a podcast.
Yeah. This is what I do. Yeah. And so I deal with mental demons all the time. I will show up at the race next weekend, kind of jokingly. I probably say to you guys that I'm going to get my ass kicked.
It's next weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, a week from this Saturday.
Yeah.
Wow, time moves weird.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I will go to that, and I will have a couple excuses in my back pocket. I will. I don't want to, but I will. Do any of you guys do that, or do they try to bubble up from the surface? And if they do, how do you tell them to fuck off and beat them down like the devils they are?
It's been really weird. My competitive, foray into cycling. Because when it was soccer, I was always self-doubting, didn't know if I was doing the right thing or if I was good enough all the time. And then I came into this, and it's like I'm the most confident person I've ever been. It's really it's strange. I like when I show up to a race, I have this mentality like I'm gonna win and I deserve it. It's really strange. I've never been this way. I've never been this way before. Yeah. And I think
now you don't. Here's my demon coming up. You're not afraid of losing that. Well, that popped into my head.
Like, is that what happened to you though? Did all of a sudden you lose and you went like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to happen? Yeah. And that's what created that?
Well, it happened because I stepped away from the sport for an extended amount of time.
And we came. It's a long road back.
Fuck, it's horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Oh,
sorry.
No. Yeah. See, I've never formally won. So I guess I just put that confidence on myself because like
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, and when I show up to things, I usually like put effort into trying to act casually, even though on the inside I am competitively like locked in. I don't know what it is. It's the first time I've ever been like as competitive as I am, like with a sport. I remember with soccer, it was like, God, I can't wait for the game to be over.
Really?
Yeah. But now it's like I can't wait. I can't wait for the race because I want to show off. It's weird.
Wow.
It's really weird for me. I've never been like that with anything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Paul, what do you do the mental demons appear?
I think early on I did, I definitely had those demons early on. I can't even pinpoint the point where each race I take as an individual, take away what I've learned, what I did right. I don't really focus on. I kind of keep it in my memory. That's what you need to do in this situation. But focus on what could I have done differently. Like I was never a prolific winner by any means, and I did a lot of work for other people.
Sure.
Which I got great joy out of that. But I think cycling, especially road cycling, the environment or the kind of the culture is all about making excuses. Everybody has to be good. It's the biggest negative I have about the sport that I cherish and love is that everybody has an excuse.
Yeah.
Miguel Lopez.
Angel Lopez.
Yeah. It's like all of a sudden out of nowhere, he's just not feeling it. I'm sure he probably has something wrong, but there's that's like, you got a long week to go. 3 more weeks to go almost, And I think if you're not feeling it, you don't. And I think the sport is brutal because the culture is, if you're not on top, then people start mocking you.
Yeah.
What happened to you? And it's happened to me.
Yeah.
I've had people mock me.
Me too.
And it's like, but for me, I turn it around. It's like, I'm going to make that person suffer next time. I'm not going to say anything and be passive aggressive.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how I deal with it. So, and sometimes I don't get to give it back.
I'm not going to lie. I'm at the point, and I'm just bearing my soul to you, the listening audience. I start every race talking myself into doing it. I'm now at the point where I'm like, if somebody told me I couldn't race, I would be like, oh shit, okay. Seriously, yeah. I'm at that point because I don't think it's a fear of failure. I know it's not a fear of failure. Mm-hmm. I don't think it is, insecurity. I don't know what it is, but part of my there's that demon in the back of my head who's going, Pat, you don't have to do this. If you don't want to, it's okay. It's such a weird thing mentally to deal with. Last Wednesday, I was just like, I thought your bike wasn't gonna work, and I immediately said you can take my bike.
And I was
like, notice how quickly I said that?
I was like, no way am I gonna.
Yeah,
like I was not gonna let you do that.
His front skewer, I thought I fucked up and didn't bring his front skewer because his bike is here, and I brought both bikes, and I thought I screwed up and didn't bring his front skewer, and I immediately went, take my bike, take it. And that's that demon. That's that part of me. It's such a weird fucking thing. Have you guys ever psyched yourself out of a good performance mentally? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
How so?
Well, I think sometimes, you're talking about, the idea of somebody says you can't race. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I had a period, it was in the 90s, probably about, I think it was 92, 93. My marriage to my first wife was going crappy. So there's always other things in your life can kind of affect that. Yeah. And I found myself quitting more and more often.
Okay.
And I'll never forget, I had an excuse for everything. And the team that I was on had, they traveled a lot. They did Lake Placid stage race. They did Cascade when it was massive. And they told me to give up my skin suit for another rider. And I'm like, wow.
Oh.
Yeah. But I could see why, because I wasn't going because I don't have any results. I've quit like half the races that I was in. They had every right to do that, but then it's just like, oh, that's that was it's a wake up call, and it's like in my mind I'm thinking, well, shit, this and this happened, or there was a crash and I got stuck, or behind the pack, and so, but instead of trying to chase, I was just like, fuck it, I'll just roll out of here. I'm not gonna catch him anyway. But you don't get any better that way, because you never know in a bike race what happens. It could be another crash, and then you get with another group, and pretty soon that group grows bigger, and you catch. Yeah. I mean, that stuff happens. But I was willing to quit at any time. Yeah. So, I mean, after that was I guess surrendering that Great Harvest skin suit was like, here you go, giving it to somebody. I'm thinking, that was mine. Yeah. I soiled it.
I've never walked away from a bike race after farting it to start.
Yeah, Jesus. Sorry, guys. I gotta get out of here.
There's your skin suit.
I'm gonna poop my pants.
Yeah. I shit in it. No, I've never walked away from a race after starting it unhappy though. Mm-hmm. Like Wednesday, I was standing there. It's not like going, fuck. Gun went off. My brain switched immediately into that. Go, and it was fine. Mm-hmm. It's such a weird thing. Jackson, have you ever psyched yourself out of an event?
I've never psyched myself out of starting an event, but I definitely have. I remember there was quite a few years ago at this point, where I would start a mountain bike race, and then for some reason I just stop. I'd usually smack into a tree or something wrong with. So I guess there was a legitimate reason for it.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I could have finished, but I just didn't, and I think that was a residual of what I used to think of myself, and how I used to, like I was mentioning earlier, I used to have the confidence of, oh God, I can't wait for the games to be over, or I remember and that was a time before I really started taking this seriously that I was just this is fun, it doesn't really matter, and then after a while I remember being really angry about it, that I didn't do it because I knew I had more to give. And then I think that's where a confidence kind of sparked in me, is I know I always have more to give, and I know that the more that I have to give is really strong. And so I somehow overcame that mental barrier of oh, you aren't going to do well in this just because you're you. And I guess now I kind of was able to turn it into what I have now, but don't get me wrong. I'm still wondering about this race. Am I gonna do well? I asked my girlfriend, am I riding enough? Of course I'm riding enough.
Or she would know.
Well, yeah. But also I said to her today, I was I could probably start the race right now and be just fine, realistically. Yeah. So it just, this is a weird sport, mentally, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but no, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, it definitely a mental. I mean, you see some people that have unbelievable, numbers. Data is really good, but if they're not feeling it, like Tom Dumoulin, you're just not going to perform. Yeah, and not saying he's not performing. I mean, he got third in that TT, but I mean, he was devastated that he thought for sure he was going to win that time trial. His numbers made it like he was going to win.
Yeah,
and when he was interviewed at the end of it, he goes, I don't have any answers. I have as many answers as you guys that are asking the questions. I have no answers to any of this. And I think this is unique about the sport. You can be physically ready. If you're not mentally, you'll never get anywhere. And I've been in a situation where my physical standpoint is not that good, but my mental was there, fighting and fighting and fighting, and everybody else quits. I'm thinking, I'm not the strongest guy. And that happens in bike racing probably more than any sport.
Sure.
Sometimes not the most talented or the best fit wins just because they were smart or stubborn.
Not Primož Roglic, Tadej Pogačar, Tom Pidcock, Mathieu van der Poel, Wout van Aert would win everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that hasn't happened, and that doesn't happen. Paul, you're a detail-oriented guy. You're the only guy... Not the only guy, but you know who the riders are, what category they're in. You just talked about that Green Bluff race where you're in a race and you look around and you know who's 40 plus, who's 50 plus, who's these types of things. You know the details of the course. You know the percentage of the gradient. You know all this kind of stuff, which just blows me away. And in terms of my preparation, I've never been that detail oriented. But what do you do if some or all of that information isn't available?
I have to go with whatever I do know. I mean, I research nowadays. Like even I looked at the start list at our race coming in a week and a half, and the guy who won the 50 plus at Tour de Bloom drink.
Stop. There it
is in a race.
Okay. Uh-oh.
And I've gone through a little bit. I've seen, I mean, he pretty much like ruled the roost. Now, that's just me. I mean, I'm doing a little research.
See, that
this
scares
is
me
what
now.
mentally.
No. I'd rather go in naive, but oh well.
Yeah, but see, now you know how to react.
Yeah.
Now I know that I've got to watch this guy. Excuse me, about ready to burp.
Yeah.
But there's 40s, and I'm curious about. I think they're going to have different numbers. Like all our numbers will start with 5.
Okay.
Or something like that.
I
think
hope.
that's
God,
the
I
number
hope it's that
thing. I
simple.
hope so too.
Yeah.
Because they did not elect to use the WSBA numbers, and I think that's why. Because it's a state championship, and if you're running different categories, you need different numbers to know who's with what. But
God, I don't think I
fingers
ordered
crossed.
those. Why didn't I get those this year? Oh well.
Well, have you done a WSBA race yet?
No. But
We
don't,
will.
Don't they come in the mail?
You have to purchase it.
I thought I purchased it and it came in the mail.
Huh.
Oh well. Anyway.
Oh.
Yeah.
But anyway, that
Fuckers.
stuff happens. But that Scooter was the same type of person.
Yeah, very much so.
And that's why, to me, it's like doing the race, being there. I mean, I've got a huge advantage, no matter if it's my lack of fitness or battle ready mind. I know that course really well. I've raced on it many times.
Sure.
And then also, I know the wind direction. I know every little pothole now. And I'm going to ride it again, maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday. Then hopefully I think we should probably hit it again.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to drive out there like tomorrow, but it's school day, and it starts at the high school.
So,
yeah.
See,
So-
I'd be willing to ride. I'd be willing to drive out and do a lap this weekend. for
Do
sure.
2 laps.
Yeah. Okay.
That would be the race.
Yeah.
So maybe this weekend that's what we should
Yeah.
do. But do that. I mean, just know that, think about everything. To me, it's like the downhill section. This is not a place to break away. There's a section in there, where you drop down. If you attack, you can see like a mile and a half. That's not what you want. There's times.
You ever thought about coaching? And I don't mean that as a
No,
joke. That's not a joke.
No.
That's like, fuck it.
Well, I mean, to me, this is a fun part of. That's why I race. That's what I like to do. I'd like to implement it on myself, and those my teammates. I don't want to share it with anybody else. And I just did.
Yeah, not that all of them. So keep
yeah.
some in the back pocket with my excuses. Jackson, you're entering into some blind corners, so to speak. How do you prepare for something you're not entirely sure about?
I listen, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
When you, Paul, talk about a lot of this stuff, I do listen. I remember a lot of the things that we did when we have already ridden the course. I remember a lot of the advice that I was already given. So that's really good. I also, like I mentioned earlier, I think I'm thinking more when I'm on my bike now rather than I was last year.
Mm-hmm.
I think last year was just I'm stronger than everybody else,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm as strong as like the top guys. I can just power away. And this year I know that I'm strong, but I also have to use that strength in like sparingly and in a smart way. And so I think just really being locked in is something that I'm gonna just try and keep with me, because like you said, there's not a lot I know about what's going on. So just like I said earlier, I also know some of the riders, and knowing how some of them ride, I can kind of plan my efforts accordingly.
Are you rolling off of a hope that you know the riders, but they don't know you?
No, I now know that they know somewhat.
Okay.
Of what I can do, but I also know that I am still fairly new,
Mm-hmm.
and they might
Doesn't help that I'm saying this right now. But.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, even though I talk about it all the time, it's like not a lot of riders here have really raced against me, and so I think that'll be on my side. But I know that some of them know what I can do. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about intimidation? Seeing other riders, knowing the course, the parkour, the size of the event. How do you approach that in terms of figuring out, a way to, when you're looking around and your eyes are a little big? I don't know about you guys, but I tend to sometimes roll up to a start line and I look around, and I mean, even the gravel fondo I did with the Diva, I was looking around at people and I was going, okay, that guy looks fat, that guy looks fast, that guy looks, he's got a cool kit, he's wearing his glasses temples outside of his helmet strap. Back to that, something to look forward to, and or the sheer size of the event. You go to a major, Athens Twilight or something like that. You're at a huge event. Things like that, and things can get a little intimidating. How do you deal with those types of challenges when you come up to an event and you see people, or oh my God, I'm riding up with somebody in a Legion kit or something like that. Jackson, I remember we went when you were just starting out. We went to a race, in a small town race, and there was a kid there. You were a junior, and there was another kid there who was just fucking swole. He looked like Matthew Vanderpool. He was a big dude, and I was like, okay, we got to watch that guy. And then he started warming up on his bike, and he turned his handlebars freakishly and just crashed out of nowhere. And I'm like, oh, okay, maybe not. I think we're going to be okay. Yeah. But those things, when you see somebody and that visual element of intimidation is there, how do you deal with it? Do you just blow it off? Do you just say, fuck it, I can beat anybody. I don't care if you're, racing for the biggest team in the world. I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah, I mean, for me at least, I think I have been, when I come to an event, and my girlfriend and I have talked about this before, that I enter into a zone where it's like I'm almost like I'm difficult to have a conversation with, because like before something I get like I do mentally prepare myself. And I do think that is kind of like, I know I'm mentioning it a lot, but that happened a lot in soccer where everybody get really serious. I'm like, okay, it's time to get serious now. And so I think that's kind of like...
You would just do that to follow?
Yeah, I do that to follow,
okay.
And now it's just almost like a habit.
Okay.
Where it's like before Wednesday night, I mean, I remember I was a little talkative, but like I also remember being like, before I was just like, I only was thinking about what I was going to do. And it's just a way that I... am. So like when I roll up to a start line and there's somebody probably way faster than I am, it's like I don't know if I really even think about it, because I try and use the intimidation factor a little bit. If I seem serious, maybe it might intimidate another person,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just that I'm constantly like, before something, I'm just in it, and there's nothing else around me.
Huh. I noticed that, like when we were at the start of that run, we were standing next to each other at the start line, and everybody was like, oh, these guys are serious. I'm like, what, are you fucking joking? And a guy immediately came out and asked me my age group. I don't know if it's because he wanted me to move back because I was old, but it was immediately that, and I was going, okay, we're the intimidation factor right now. Yeah. Paul, what do you do when you line up against this person has won races in the region as close as a week ago? is there an intimidation factor, or is it, or do you
I don't
deduce that, to take that away and make it a tactical
Yeah,
call?
it does. I mean, it's not, at this point, when you race a lot, you know what this person's strengths and weaknesses are, and you try and play your strengths against their weakness. That's the big chess game when you do local races. It's a lot of fun, and I've always enjoyed bike racing that way. But, like I said, I'm in no man's land, and I don't know this guy's particular age, but I know he's in our age group.
Okay.
And he seemed to really clean up, which is another thing. So to keep my eye on him, I just create scenarios. So what would I do in this situation? What if he goes on an early break? He goes with 40-year-olds. I've got to have him marked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What if I can't stay with him? Well, this is an omnium. Do I want to go for a stage? Because this guy's going to go for it all, because this is a part of a 3 series stage race. Tour de Bloom drink.
Yeah.
RC3 and then Walla Walla, which is on the first weekend of June. So that's what he's after. Well, he's going to have a lock, right? He's going to have a lock after he wins
This,
if he does. It'd be fun for me. My incentive is to spoil that a little bit. I mean, ideally, my goals out of it is to win either the road race or the crit to get that state championship, which I've been desiring for 38 years or whatever. So, but, I mean, if I can't do that, if he goes off, I'm not going to chase this guy down. Because let's think about this. This is an omnium. So it doesn't matter if he beats me by 20 minutes or 2 seconds. Yeah. He's going to get his points. So then that shifts everything. So where am I sitting after the time trial on the road? I mean, that's the type of stuff I'm thinking. So I don't try and especially at my age, I don't let anybody intimidate me. I always take in, I don't know that guy, and then I'll assess their bike, how clean it is, that type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes when you see sewn up marks on the jerseys about halfway through the year, this guy crashes. He's
Yeah.
You just make these notes. Then it might have been, somebody crashed in front of him, but I'll watch the way he rides because he's got a little sewn up stitch, part. I mean, those are the things I just try. So I don't try and get intimidated.
Okay.
And even if I don't know, even if in the early days, even when I was, was plopped in with Cat 1s and stuff.
Yeah.
That their name, and you're like, fuck, this is just, all I'm thinking is just hang in as long as you can. Wouldn't that be cool if you were in a break with,
Insert name here.
Yeah. Nate Reese or, these type of people, but that never happened. I never even saw that. What'd you do?
I just wrote on my brand new shirt.
Hey, nice shirt, by the way.
Ink going across my brand new shirt. Yeah.
No.
Nice shirt, by the way.
You got a
Well,
box.
no, they're blurry.
Is it?
Yeah, I can't tell. Ever had to fake it? Ever got to the point where it's like, oh, fuck, this isn't working? Either because of poor training, because of being in the wrong place with the wrong people, because of poor food, fueling, things like that. Have you ever had to fake it? And if so, how have you dealt with it?
I don't know if I have an answer for this because I don't know if I've had enough experiences. I mean, I've bonked a billion times, but BWI, I don't have to fake it.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah. I think if you bonk, there's not much you can do.
No.
Yeah.
You're hanging in the back. I mean, you'd be a fool to try and, pull the wool over anybody's eyes because it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all you do is hang in to the last. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if you realize your fitness is not there, there's ways to fake your fitness a little bit. Give them a few scares here and there so that keeps – you don't want them to attack because you're going to get dropped. So you kind of show your face a little bit and go, oh, okay, then we'll just – you try and do that as long as you can. I don't think I've ever came out okay on that, but, you fake it as long as you can.
How about the moments when things go wrong in a race, like mechanicals and things like that? Yeah, it's very easy to lose your shit and just panic and stuff like that. I don't know if there's an answer other than just convince yourself to calm down. But is there anything other than convincing yourself to just calm down?
Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, hell, last week there was a point where I had to get off and walk and like 5 or 6 people like went by me.
Yeah.
And the entire time mentally I was like, I'll be fine. I've never been in a road race where I've had to deal with that. It's very different, obviously. If you blow a tire, it's a little, you got to get a wheel. But like every time something like that happens, for me at least, I haven't had too many experiences, but it's like it'll be okay.
I find mine comes with the duration of the race.
Yeah, I agree.
For example, Belgian Waffle, I was in a bad fucking place, and I thought this is it, and then it slowly just started getting okay because I had that time. In a crit, an hour crit or something like that, when something goes wrong, you flat or something like that. I'm not gonna lie, I get uptight. I'm focused, but I'm uptight. I get angry.
Yeah, I think that's natural, though. I mean, I try and keep a level head, but your adrenaline's pumping for whatever reason. The times I've gone in the pit, not because I flatted on the ride, but it was crash-oriented, whether I had to get a new wheel or wait for the pack because I was held up from the crash. It's everything's scrambled. Now you have to resort everything because if you ever got the free lap, and it doesn't feel like free, it feels like a penalty because once you're shoved out, they let you out on the back, and they usually don't. Late. Oh yeah,
the
and
USA
you're
official is holding it on for so long.
Let me go.
Let me go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible.
It's not fun, but it's just a matter of just trying to gather that. But I think experience has a lot to do with that. The more times you've been in that situation, like I've flatted and bridged back up and ended up getting third in a road race.
Wow.
And it was a terrible wheel change and everything. But still, it took me about 2 miles to bridge. Just learning to you don't grab it all at once. You got to see that progression, and especially if you know the race, what's coming up ahead, and you can judge too. Always keep in your mind when you're in the pack, there is a mentality. Every race is different. You can see it might be all, full gas. It might be a couple of people are watching each other. I mean, there is a weird culture that happens inside the pack at every race and depends on different situations. And so I think experience is the best thing that can actually cure that. It's just when it happens, just stay cool.
And this is so applicable. Sometimes we do find ourselves pigeonholing ourselves into a road-based mentality. But I'm thinking about a gravel race. I'm thinking about even a mountain bike race. Where your specific areas where something's going to go well, where you're going to have your strength. Okay, I got to wait for the climb, or I'm not really good on this single track tight section, or whatever it may be. Having that cool head and that confidence to even let somebody go ahead and say, I'm not going to hold you on this climb. This is not my strength, but I am going to take advantage of the situations of the course that work best for me. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But or maybe I can create some sort of a tactical situation as it goes. And improvisation is a required part of bike racing.
Huge.
Being able to just go, okay, the game plan is gone. How often does a race go to plan?
Rarely.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You have to be able to think on the way, and make things happen. So how about I think we talked about rituals and superstitions. Does anybody have a ritual or superstition? Even like here we are 10, 12 days out. Do you have anything that you have to do between now and race day? Even it could be a dinner the night before, or breakfast the morning of, not looking at your whoop score. We talked about this one, Jackson, or something like that. Are there any type of specific rituals that you guys need to have happen?
I think the only one I'm really probably going to focus on is like the night before. I'll probably, just chill out. But other than that, if this is not in my pocket, for the non-visual viewers, if this chapstick is not in my right or middle pocket, it's not going to be a good day.
Wow.
But other than that, show up, race hard.
Yeah.
I'm thinking on the feed zone, you might want to have somebody there with the chapstick just in case you lose it.
Just in case you do.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Like,
they're just holding it out.
Chapstick. That would throw people off.
Yeah.
Chapstick. What?
Yeah.
What?
Have Jack Broadhead at the side of the road. Here's a chapstick.
Yeah. See, I'm thinking about next, that race weekend. That Saturday is my wedding anniversary. It's like my 29th wedding anniversary.
The road race and
January
the
30th.
TT.
Yeah, but my wife looked at me today and she said, "Can we at least go out on Friday night?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, we can go out Friday
Get
night."
hammered.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, okay, am I going to have a glass of wine with dinner? Yeah, I'm probably
I
going to have
would.
a glass of wine. Am I going to have a whiskey beforehand? Yeah, I probably will. Oh, shit. When am I going to stop? You know, do I have an alcoholic mentality? Maybe. But it's that, you know, this going out to dinner, doing those types of things, you know, yes. Would I prefer to kind of chill and go to bed early? And yeah,
But also, though, I do consider that a chill as well, you know? Like, you don't have to, like,
Focus.
throw back 40, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you can still, like, have a good time, but also, like, have a water with dinner along with your other thing, you know?
yeah.
And it might be a good thing. It keeps your mind off of sitting there thinking and worrying, and you know, because I typically, if you on road trips, you know, to a race, I sleep terrible that night because one is unfamiliar bed. You're thinking you're in a foreign place. You're trying to figure out your strategy. You know, everything. The whole environment's just a
Double,
big
triple checking your alarm.
This is we're at home. You get to be with your wife. You get to do some fun things. Just be normal.
Yeah.
Just don't overdo it. Just think, you know.
Do you have anything specific you have to do?
Me, not necessarily. I try and, you know, try and get away from eating heavy foods.
Yeah.
But I haven't been very successful in the last couple of years. So, but, you know, I like rice and pasta and just trying to keep that, the glycogen stores up. And,
Sure.
But, you know, nothing particular.
It's going to be an interesting 10 days.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
I'm going in completely unknown.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do.
Well, like I mentioned earlier, now that we have our Wednesday night and Thursday nights,
Yeah.
I don't have to schedule a ride in the week anymore.
But
so.
next week, we don't do the Thursday night. You wouldn't do the Thursday night 2 days before the race, would you?
I probably won't. It depends on how this Thursday goes.
Yeah.
You know.
God, I wish I could go. Oh, I can't go. It's not fair. Fuck. So, there we go. Well, that's we're gonna switch now to what we usually do. We're gonna close with the news brought to us by our friends at Ambassador Cycling, where you get fit to get fit, and Athletic Brewing, where you drink to stay fit, not drink to stay fat. Check out these as well as all of our other friends of the show at packfiller.com.
That was nice.
Was that a
That
good
was
read?
timing.
That
there.
was nice.
Yeah.
It's almost like I have a degree in broadcasting.
Yeah.
Hey, let's catch up on the first week of the Giro, shall we? First of all, am I the only one who's extremely confused about a Friday start and a Monday off? They went Friday, Saturday. What?
I know. I got home yesterday. I was like, gotta watch stage today.
Yeah.
Then I went on GCN. Nope.
No.
Nothing.
It's a UCI rule. If you have like a big travel day where you have to do a flight, there has to be a rest day.
Okay.
So there'll be 3 rest days in this Giro.
But let's go to that. I mean, and I don't want to get overly political. Anybody have any thoughts on that start in Hungary, a country dealing with multiple political issues? The race organizers have been dodging questions about LGBTQ plus safety at the race's start. Recent legislation deeply restricted the rights of LGBTQ people, including the refusal to recognize gay marriage or allow people to legally change their gender. Hungary's prime minister is also a staunch supporter of Vladimir Putin. And he's referred to Russia's invasions of Ukraine as merely, quote, aggression instead of war. A lot of pissed off people about that kind of thing. Does bike racing need to take some of these issues to heart? Or is sporting just basically corrupt and all about money?
I mean, I think everybody knows that it's pretty much corrupt and about money.
Yeah.
So that's no surprise.
Yeah.
But I guess it could be incredibly ignorant of me. But I personally took it as more of a bike race rather than anything political when watching. And like I said, that could be ignorant of me, all in all.
I kind of was in the same boat.
Yeah. But I wanted to watch, and that's what I think I also use sport as, is a place to escape from a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I personally looked at it as that, but now that I know, there's a lot that's rough.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
It is a little bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's you know, before the war broke out, Hungary was already picked, but there's other
That's
issues,
the hard part
obviously.
there.
That at least the war issue, that was already done and dusted. That they were going to go there, but COVID didn't allow it. So, I'm going to plug if anybody's interested. It's called. Well, it's a cycling podcast, and they did a Kilometer Zero, and it's about this very topic, which they're in the middle of it all. One of the things that the word that was used was sports washing.
That's a great way.
And it's not just cycling. Look at FIFA,
where
the World Cup, it's at a stupid, dumbest place in the world, and it's going to be in November. Because it's too hot, and why talking about civil rights, problems.
Absolutely.
It is about an all sport, and Olympics are the same way. IOC.
The Olympics have been insane for the last several times.
And so cycling. I guess I'm just being their champion. They're not the only one guilty of this.
No.
So, it's just sometimes you just like. I just want to watch a bike race, and I wish the politics. And I understand why the politics are involved because this is how, like you, Jackson, you're the one that said it. I'm just watching. I didn't realize this is part of their game. That the government I think is the leader of Hungary's Orbán or Orbán or anyway. He's notorious for doing this type of stuff to make himself look good, and so he's. But if you're interested, listen to that podcast, cycling podcast. It's called Kilometer Zero. It came out yesterday or today, but it's like every time I started listening, it's like it's very interesting to me, and I don't want to be unplugged, but it's like God. It's like letting the air out of a balloon. It's like, God dang it.
It's frustrating.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, especially when...
And I've been to Hungary, and I love that country. It's beautiful, and the people are great. And once I heard that, it's like, well, shit. What am I supposed to... the people are good. They got a bad dictator. We've had bad presidents, I'm
tired of the assholes ruining it for the rest of us, to be honest. I'm so fucking tired of the assholes ruining it for the rest of us. The vocal assholes who just, God damn it, let's just all live, please. Yeah. Can we all just live our own lives? I don't give a flying fuck what you do, but just don't make me do it, too. It's just, I don't get it.
Well, here's an issue. Let me ask you guys. Are you guys in favor of having the Tour of Italy and Tour de France or Spain all starting in a different location outside their country?
I've always thought that was a little fucked, to be honest.
And that's been going down back in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's not a new thing.
I think it is kind of dumb. I guess if you call it the Tour de France or the
Tour of Italy,
Giro, it doesn't really. I don't know if it makes sense to me to start it in another place because then technically it's not the Tour of X country. Yeah, because it's
I agree.
Tour of X country, but also Y country as well. It just
Well, and I'll be the devil's advocate. The only good thing is you look when the Tour de France started in England in Yorkshire. Man, that turned that country around. They are rabid about cycling, and you look what the Worlds did, and so that's good for cycling. I like that part. And Hungary is not a cycling country by any means, but the line of the roads and stuff, those people were, and like I said, I didn't really get to know a lot of people, but everybody I came across, Hungarians, I thought they were great, warm, people. So why punish the people or our sport because of some dickhead that's leading the country? Yeah. But then where do you draw the line?
Yeah.
That's
why do we, it's the war is Vladimir Putin. Why do we punish? Well, because we have to.
Yeah,
we have to because we can't punish Vladimir Putin. We have to punish the country as a whole. Yeah, it's just, I don't want. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to bike racing. How about the racing itself? First of all, I'm going to throw out a bunch of topics here. Mathieu van der Poel taking that brutal uphill finish where Caleb Ewan had what we could all classify as like a human moment. It seemed like a brain fart. It just seemed like it's so fucking exhausted that he just went, oh, shit, I hit the front wheel in front of me. Mark Cavendish showing us that age doesn't mean shit. And with that same topic, I'm going to throw out those two to start because there's a lot of naysayers on the internet saying that that the Giro sprint quality isn't as high as a Tour de France. That well, of course, Mark won. He's not sprinting against the best in the world, and it's like, God damn it! Anybody with a keyboard can just be a cock. I'll start there. That first stage, those first stages in terms of Mathieu van der Poel, Mark Cavendish, and his sprinting abilities. Anybody have anything right out of there?
I guess I have a couple things. First, I think that it was really cool to see Van der Poel now show his prowess in not one but two Grand Tours. I think it was really cool to see him kind of don the jersey for both. Also, I said this to you, Dad, over the weekend that I think we are now seeing that Biniam Girmay is not just a one-time Gent-Wevelgem winner. He is he's a pretty big deal, and he's not going to stay on. Well, I guess he is now.
Yeah,
he signed a big contract.
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh. So
2005. Yeah, but 25.
Yeah. So
God.
He's going to be a big contender, I think, for whether it be classics or maybe a sprint jersey like a Ciclamino or a Green. I think he's really impressive. And then I will say it. I think this was the first time that I've been impressed with current Mark Cavendish. Yeah. Because Michael Morkow, as and you've had him on the show. Yeah. Let everybody know.
Great guy.
Yeah. This was the first imperfect lead out I've seen come out of him, where he dropped him off early.
300 out.
Yeah, pretty early for a Mark Cavendish sprint, I found. And I was...
The internet was abuzz saying it was perfect, which is funny, though, too.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was a good lead out. I think what it was.
But that's a long way out for a guy like Cavendish.
I don't think Cavendish wanted to go, but his experience, you could see, look over, and who made the move? It was Van der Poel.
Yeah.
He had to go.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Morkow was going, no, too early.
Yeah.
But he was hitting 45 miles an hour. You can't. How do you get around? Here's one that on that particular sprint.
Is there a top end beyond 45 miles an hour?
I don't know, but Caleb, watch the. Was it? Oh gosh, it must have been after the stage today in the Giro. Was there? No, there. Yeah, there was a stage today. That's right.
Climb. Yeah.
Yeah. So Adam Blythe and Caleb, not Caleb, but Robbie McEwen. Break down that sprint, and inside 800 meters. Too. Oh yeah, and they're drawing just like Caleb Ewing's way. Lotto blew it big time. Yeah. And Quick Step knew they had to get into that roundabout in first. That's exactly what they did. They kind of burned a couple of matches to get there, but they had to do in order to get in that position. But Caleb came from freaking nowhere and got fourth. I mean, he would, but at 45 miles an hour, he wasn't gaining anything. So I think he's got the motor.
He does.
It'll be interesting tomorrow, being Wednesday, what happens. But
when we look at the parcours of the remaining 2.5 weeks, there are not a lot of sprint opportunities.
No,
there's basically one.
There are breakaways.
A lot of breakaway opportunities. There's basically one more. What do we see? We know Caleb Ewan is very likely going to call it a day very soon. Should Cav do the same thing, or should Cav just stick it through? Because we keep running into this: who's going to be the sprinter on Quick Step for the Tour? Now with Alaphilippe out, maybe there are two sprinters that go to the Tour. But what would Cav's best shot currently be? Where would you, if you were Mark Cavendish's race, manager? What would you tell him to do?
I think, first of all, I think that the Tour team, the Tour de France team for Quick Step is probably already decided.
Jakobsen.
Yeah, it's going to be Jakobsen. Because, and I don't think they're going to bring Mark Cavendish, and this is my theory. So I think that because Wout has announced that he is going to go for green jersey this year, I think they go, he's one of the best riders in the world. He can win on a mountaintop,
Yeah.
or he can win like a Von 2 stage.
That
which,
consistency is going to be there.
exactly.
Very much a page out of Peter Sagan's book.
And I was just about to say, he doesn't have to win everything, but he will always be up there in a sprint stage. And if Quick Step wants the jersey, they got to bring Fabio. Is it Jakobsen? Yeah. They have to bring him because he's probably going to last longer over the 3 weeks. He's going to make it over the mountains. Yeah. A lot of that stuff that Cav was, as we saw last year, on the verge of not making it. And I think if that wasn't decided, if I was Cav, I'd drop out tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, I would drop from the Giro if it wasn't decided. But knowing that
it's already penned down,
it has to be.
Paul?
I don't know. I think they're going to be playing it. I mean, Patrick Lefebvre, obviously, I think he can wait to the last minute to make that decision. Can be a bit
unpredictable.
Yes. Yeah. Whether he has it in his mind or not, but he's not going to announce it. So, I mean, because Jakobsen is going to Tour Hungary, he could crash.
Yeah. True.
So, there's so many things that could happen between here and the Tour. I think for Cavendish, if there's a potential, this is how I would play it. I would keep Cavendish as long as he could, but not sacrifice too much of the team to keep him inside the time limit.
Yeah.
And let him go when he has to, kind of like on Titanic.
Jack could have fit on the fucking bench, but anyway, yeah.
So anyway, that's probably how I would play it, because you never know somebody could get sick. You know how the sickness is running rampant.
Yeah.
There is a lot on the plate here. So I think that he should go as far as he could. It'd be good training before the Tour.
I mean, would keep him in top form. Yeah.
But you don't want him to go too deep, and if you're going to use him, pull him up for the Tour, then he's like, I need another week, because the sprints start right off the bat, when the Tour starts too. So,
is this still a race for Carapaz to lose? In your opinion, from what you've seen?
I picked Sean. I almost did it again.
Simon
Yates. Yeah.
Simon Yates showed he's there to win. He's there.
Yeah.
Now there's only one more time trial, and it's 17.
Who would have predicted that other than Sean Kelly? Sean Kelly picked that. When he made his prediction, I'm like going, really?
Yeah.
And then when he won, it's like, holy cow! Look who they beat. We beat.
Yeah. The last TT, the last stage is the only remaining time.
Yeah, and it's short.
Yeah, 17K.
But if he's close to Carapaz, right? He's gonna put some time in it.
Yeah.
And they've done. Did you hear his interview at the end of that time trial? Simon's, yeah.
Oh.
So he worked with Giant. They're really happy with Giant and KDX, and so all those guys were.
There you go, Diva.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah.
They've been working with that team, and they're like totally ecstatic. So to them, it wasn't a surprise. He had a $2,000 skin suit.
Holy shit!
It was specially made.
Talk about marginal
and
needs.
That bike, ready? Wait for it. Rim brakes.
Wait, that's me. What?
Yeah. So that bike was designed to be,
Yeah.
So that's one of those things that they wanted that. I think they knew that was a very important part, and he really opened it up. Unfortunately, crashed today, going up Mount Etna, but he was in that group.
Yeah.
He made sure that there wasn't any time, so he gives him some time to heal up into the next. Stage 9 is going to be a big.
Yeah.
That'll be a big one. So, anyway, there's my rant.
We each had one.
Well, there's rim brakes, disc brake things.
And we're dealing with some very, very bad news for Astana and for Jumbo Visma, both who have had horrible days. With Miguel Angel Lopez, claiming it was some sort of a knee or hamstring issue. I think it was.
I heard hip, knee, muscle. Okay. I heard muscle. So there's
Vincenzo Nibali getting popped for Jumbo Visma. We had Tom Dumoulin obviously not making it to the top of the climb with the front group. Is there anything left for those squads?
Jumbo Visma, they brought their B team. And so
Ouch.
I know that's harsh, but I don't think that. I think we've seen, which is harsh. It's hard for me to say, but I think we've seen the best of Tom Dumoulin. Which, like I said, that's hard. But if they wanted to win, they would have brought Roglic, they would have brought Wout, they would have brought Robert Hastings, Sepp Kuss, all those different riders. So I'm not unfortunately very surprised about that. And then Astana, did we really? I guess this is also going to sound bad. Did we really think that they were going to win?
I like
Lopez
rooting
has
against Astana. I
Lopez-
have always liked
Mhm.
rooting against them.
Lopez has had, fairly decent success,
Mhm.
with mishaps,
Yeah.
at the Giro. But this is a Giro that there's only like 2 climbs are over 2,000 meters, so around 6,600 feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the South Americans reign. So,
Yeah.
and it's one of the hilliest, elevation gains, but they're not going into altitude.
Yeah.
So,
That's
it's
a
one of those
different-
things.
that's
It's a different
beast.
game, yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a different thing
So,
altogether.
yeah, I think that Carapaz is got some work to cut out for him. I really do, and I think that Astana really was putting a lot banked on that, and I think Nibali is going to go for stages. I think that's all they could do, and that's all Jumbo Visma is going to do. And
If you were an Ineos director, and I'm going to say his name silently, very quietly, so I don't jinx it,
I
would
know
you conserve Richie Port? Would you be saving
he had a good
Richie
time
Port?
trial.
And he was up at the front of the climb today.
It might be a double barrel type
Mm-hmm.
experience to see
I'd
who.
be holding him in the reserves.
It's the 9th stage. Remember, number 9's not good
Okay.
for him.
Yeah.
So that's where he crashes.
Oh,
Yeah.
no!
And that's decisive stage. So
Yeah.
they probably know this. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good idea to save him, but also for Carapaz to sit behind him.
Yeah.
Except on stage 9, he needs to sit behind Sivakov instead.
He needs to pad up.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Roll cage.
Yeah.
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 But that's what I think I would use Richie for, is that final domestique. If Carapaz is sitting well.
This is it. This is Richie's last
Mhm.
hurrah.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Now, did you watch the stage, you guys, today?
Today, yeah.
Today's stage.
I couldn't rewind, so I didn't get the whole. I got the last
When they're going up the
30K.
hill, that's all.
Yeah.
So going up there was, they pulled the typical Ineos
Mhm.
Grenadier train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Carapaz disappeared. He fell back, and it's like,
I was screaming at my computer going, save Richie! Go use him! Yeah, because I was like,
But-
he's all you got left.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden he came back
Yeah.
up though.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like something was going on. Whether he's gauging, because he was just like all of a sudden he was back in the. So I think he's
Eyeing
doing
the
well.
field.
Yeah, and I think whether he had to get
Like
a
one
gel
of those true patrons.
or maybe he had
yeah.
to take a pee.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something happened.
Switch to a rim brake bike.
Yeah. He didn't. He got his gold paint taken off because of
He
weight.
did. Yeah.
Mhm. So now they just got to grab those ram brake.
All right, my last question about the Giro. Give a letter grade to Alpecen's and EF Easy Post's Giro specific kits.
Okay.
Should we go with Jackson first? Jackson's the
Sure.
fashionista.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we're going with Jackson first.
I'm gonna give honestly an A to both of them.
Really?
yeah.
Okay.
The Alpecin Phoenix kit is probably my favorite color right now.
Yeah,
I
mine
love
too.
that color.
I hated it at first.
Oh, I
What?
liked it from get go.
It took me about a day or two looking
It's
at it.
a little bit paler than what you have on right now.
yeah, it's a little bit greener for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, it's crossed between the wall and your
Yeah.
sweatshirt.
Yeah.
I heard somebody describe it as the color of cabbage.
Yeah. But I think it's so cool, especially with their bikes. If I could ride one of those bikes,
Oh,
are
yeah.
good looking.
I would ride
They
that
look
bike.
good.
Yeah,
They do.
They look really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
And also, I appreciate the EF jersey because I don't know. I like it when they do that, when they turn like their jerseys to black.
Mm-hmm.
Because like last year's Giro kit,
It was cool.
oh, that was like the coolest kit I've
Yeah,
ever
I
seen.
thought so.
Yeah. But I'm a big fan of it.
Okay.
Both of them. Mm-hmm.
Paul, how are you?
Definitely A for
Yeah.
Alpecin, and I think a B because last year's kit for EF was better, I think.
Yeah.
And there's no freaking ducks on it this year, so I'll give it a better grade.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I am now actually after I watched today's stage because there was an Alpecin rider off the front of the climb for a long time, and I looked and I went, that looks really good.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be about flash,
No.
because that's what we've been for so long.
Yeah.
Just pow. And then EFs, I think. Have you ever been on a really long bus trip?
And some kid throws up.
No, the chairs, the furniture in a bus is what it
tour
looks
buses,
like.
Yep, they
It looks like a tour
that.
bus.
Yeah.
Or the Portland rug, at the airport or something like that. And part of me is like going, I don't know if I like it. I did it first. It's kind of funny. With Alpecin, I didn't at first, but now I do. And with EF, I did it first, but now I'm kind of like, but I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
I love EF's Easy Post or whatever their sub-sponsor's been. I love the creativity and the ingenuity that they put into their kit design. I think it's fun. I think they throw shit on even as far back as the Argyle kits.
Yeah.
They've always just kind of said fuck tradition, and I love that. I think that's cool. And that, I'm a guy who loved La Vie Claire. It's on my fucking keychain. That was a completely different style and a different look, and I think that's fun. That's what people that becomes iconic in that way. So I think it's fun. So, anybody want to throw out a major prediction between now and the end of the next show with our next week of the Giro?
I think Yates is gonna blow it. I'll
Jackson,
always say
you
it.
always think Yates is gonna blow it.
I think it'll end up being a battle between Almeida and Carapaz.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul?
I think Yates is going to win it. I think he's banked a lot. And I heard an interview with him and Matt White. They're like, he's not coming back no matter the outcome.
Yeah.
And I maybe not if he won, I'm sure you'd represent well. But after his embarrassment when Froome he won, 4 stages, within 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, kaboom.
Yeah.
I think they're playing it smart, and I think this is their target for him. So
I agree. And I'm also saying that to my fellow co-hosts of the Feed Zone on Velocast, on Cycling Legends. Just they all thought I was on crack when I said Simon.
So that's
Yates.
coming out Thursday.
So they can all. No, it was last week.
Last week? How come I didn't
it was
get
last Thursday. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was on the premium feed.
I know. I got the premium feed.
Oh, yeah, it was on the last one. And when I said Simon Yates, they all went, bollocks, rubbish, whatever those fucking
It must be
foreigners
buried.
say.
They must have had.
Yeah.
I bet you John put something on top of
He
that. So.
He does. He buries this because we all recommend like cleaning products and shit like that at a certain part of the show. So there we go. Well, there we go. That takes us to 1 hour and 32 minutes, and that takes us into another episode of the Packfiller Podcast. When we talk to you next, we will be all paranoid about racing our bikes within a very short amount of time, and we will see if any of us gets any proper preparation. Paul has time off, so he's going to. Jackson, you will probably. I'm fucked. This is show week, so I'm screwed, and I'm. The demons are already bubbling up.
Well, we'll make an effort to drive out there and do 2 laps.
Yeah, I've got time during the day, so we can do that. So everybody else, put something on your calendar. I've been talking to a lot of people about this lately, and even if you do deal with those horrific psychosis demons like I'm dealing with, put something on your calendar and just go try it, go do it. It's the best way to motivate yourself to get out and ride your bike and enjoy it. And even if you don't have delusions of grandeur. Just sign up for something. That's fun. Yeah. And if you want to, hey, plug, sign up for the 24 Hours of Riverside, which is a race I'm heavily involved with, and it's happening here in Spokangeles. So there we go. Anybody got anything else? Subscribe. Be sure and to check out packfiller.com. That's where we've got all our fun stuff. And I'm talking to people about changing the website. So it's going to be some